When Barack Obama was elected the 44th President of the United States just a little over a year ago, the New York Times declared that the election of Mr. Obama amounted to a national catharsis, a repudiation of a historically unpopular Republican president, his economic and foreign policies, and an embrace of Mr. Obama's call for change. Joining me now to discuss that astounding election, President Obama's first year in office, and what we might expect to see in the future, is Hendrik Hertzberg, staff writer and editor at The New Yorker. His latest book, Obámanos, The Birth of a New Political Era, is a collection of his writing before and after the election. It is published by Penguin, and I'm very pleased that it brings him back to our show. Hi.
Hi.
Can you explain the title? Well, because some people are going to be confused by Obámanos.
Well, it's it's a sign that I saw on a tree outside of Santa Fe, New Mexico. And actually, it was a very popular Obama poster and slogan in that part of the country.
What do you think it was intended to mean?
Well, of course, it's a bilingual joke, Vámonos, Obámanos, and what it says to me is, this is a whole new scrambling of the American identity, and it really represents what Obama stood for, the kind of excitement he stood for. Obámanos, vámonos, yes we can. And the whole new ethnic mixture that Obama represented, and that was a new way to be American. It represented an American identity that had not been expressed at the highest levels of politics before.
You've said in interviews, "I don't expect to see a better president in my lifetime." Are we going all the way back to the beginnings of your life?
Well, that was a prospective comment. And, of course, who knows how long my lifetime is going to be at this point. But
well, do you continue to feel that way?
I do, and I think that it's possible that it will be retrospective as well. I mean, I remember presidents from Truman onwards.
Because there's been a lot of discussion in the past few weeks about how Mr. Obama has done in his first year, and a lot of emphasis on the campaign promises he has yet to fulfill, or we're now realizing may never even try to fulfill.
I don't know about that last category. I'm not sure what you'd put into that.
Well,
last
he
category.
made. I think that we've seen real changes in some of the suggestions that he made as things he would like to do. He's backtracked on a whole bunch of things.
But the thrust of what he's tried to do is what he promised to do: health care, global warming, opening up the government to scientific fact, appointing people to positions in agencies who actually believe in the mission of those agencies.
Cleaning up the problem in Afghanistan, getting us out of Iraq.
Yeah, and we are getting out of Iraq.
Opening up
more or less on
negotiations
schedule.
with Iran.
Yeah, all of those things. Ending torture, that's a big one. I mean, just cleaning up, just refraining from doing so many of the things that the Bush administration was doing is a massive change.
Of course, if I was speaking to Dick Cheney, he'd be saying these same things as negatives.
Yes, he would, right, because he actually believed in what he did.
Do you agree at all with those people who argue that he might have put too much emphasis on getting health care passed and not enough on job creation? He put too many eggs in one basket, and then when the problem became larger than anybody could have imagined, now sees the rest of his agenda threatened?
I think that he is dealing with a political system that acts like a funnel, where you put your hopes and dreams into the big end, and then it goes down, and when it gets to the small end, that's the U.S. Senate. That's where everything gets clogged up. Because of that, he had to choose a small number of things to do. He had no choice but to do the stimulus. I think he made the right decision in going for health care, and if he can get some kind of a health care bill, that will strengthen his hand on these other subjects.
Well, he's being hurt right now because we have 10.2% unemployment, or if you really want to look at it, it's a whopping 17.5%, according to David Leonard of the Times, if you include the underemployed and those who have quit looking. And job creation seems crucial, and we're not really seeing much job creation.
Right, and I think it's a fair comment to say that the stimulus package was too small and too heavily geared toward tax cuts rather than immediate spending.
And there was talk about job creation from the start, and yet it kind of disappeared somewhere along the way.
Well, it's coming back. Also, I'd say that Obama generally is a guy who's had incredibly good luck. But one piece of luck he had that's not so good is that this Great Recession began very close to the time that he won the election. FDR was lucky that the great crash was in 1929 rather than 1932, because there was no way that FDR could be blamed for the economy he inherited. There's a pretty concerted effort to blame Obama for the economic status quo right now, even though it's not his creation, even though it's completely something he inherited, and the momentum of the economic disaster has been coursing through his administration. So things are getting, the employment picture is going to take longer to recover than the GDP picture.
Well, there were a lot of people who put an awful lot of hope in him, but there were others who were poised from the start to go after him. You said in a recent blog post that the teabaggers and anti-healthcare protesters are acting against their own self-interest. Well, why do you think they're doing it then?
Well, they're kind of economic self-interest. They're acting against it. I think that this, if you kind of draw back and look at the great big picture, that the American political system has had such difficulty producing for people. On health care, for example, this has been a public wish. Universal health care has been a public wish since the late 1940s, just as much as it has been in Europe. But our system is unable to produce it. And I think that for a lot of people, politics becomes detached from actual consequences and becomes a kind of morality play. And that the teabaggers are in that category of people whose politics are really about feelings, about resentments, about a sense of marginalization.